baboon. Him and his dancers, yelling, I have no regrets. I do it for the love, the rush, the buzz, the hush. Whatever turns my knees so much to hit the lift. Even if you gotta sift through the shit to get to the twist. The smile high like it's your last line, but you never get another try. Do it right, do it for the ride, for the heat. Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys have had a lot of conversations with people since we spoke last. Hell, it might have even been 2 years ago. Time slips away from me at this age to where I'm not even quite sure. But I remember we had a nice conversation about you guys' locations and up there outside of Ontario. And I saw your video about your camera placements, and I was very excited about it. And that's why I contacted you guys and I wanted to talk to you about it.
So, yeah, I started up Hastings County, Sasquatch, August the 13th, 2017, just sitting on a deck on vacation up at my family's property, which is, and incidentally, at that location, I'd been screamed at, whistled at over the years. Saw a head looking up from behind a tree one time and then looked away and it was gone. So that's in Hastings County, Ontario, and that's Belleville, Ontario. And if anybody knows anything about CFB, Canadian Forces Base Trenton, it's not too far away, about 30 miles away. So we get a lot of air traffic over there coming over our place. So Hastings County runs up to around Bancroft and it touches Algonquin Park. So Hastings County Sasquatch was set up with the idea of, gathering reports from the area. If anybody didn't know where to submit, well, then they could find a place to submit for the general area and the surrounding counties of Hastings County. And when it comes to crew size, I guess it's just Chris and I tip that at all, really, except for when we go out for those such as the camera hangs that you saw in the video when we just recruited a few friends to go out with us, and they seem to have a good time doing it with us. So yeah, and Chris usually does up all the videos. I try to find something to write about on the Facebook page.
Oh, well, very good. Yeah, I want to preface this before we get into all the details about what you guys are doing, and I think it is a wonderful project that can yield great results. Just the way it's laid out, I think it's perfect. Uh, in 2018 or 2019, I went out to California to specifically be involved with a camera operation similar to yours, where they were going to make like a half a mile circle of cameras set up the same way as yours, and create and then use vocalizations on the inside of that circle, so that in order for something to come in, say like a dying deer or something like that, so it would have to cross a line to come in that quarter-mile circle to where the vocalizations would be set up. Needless to say, when I got out there, and I actually made a video on it, it's called Sierra. the Sierra Mountains, Bigfoot, whatever. But I wasn't there for that, and it was a fiasco. The guy bought 3 boxes of like 100 or so cameras, and they were very low quality. He bought the cheapest batteries you could possibly buy, trying to save $1. And so, and he really didn't test the cameras out until I got there. And then he tested one out in his backyard. We find out it only lasted about 6 hours on these cheap batteries. And so you talk about not being prepared. Sometimes that's the biggest part of the battle, to make sure that you've got good cameras, experiment with them, know their limitations, know your expectations with them, capabilities that they have, your placement, how far apart can they be triggered. But yeah, if you explain the whole thing, and then I'll ask questions after that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris, I think
sure.
yeah, that's Chris's department there. He got all the cameras. So go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
Well, at first we were looking at the Tasco cameras, which was it's a half decent brand camera and not overly expensive, but it's the problem is a lot of some of the Tasco's models that I was looking at have got discontinued. The reason why I wanted to use the Tasco's originally was because the ease of doing some modifications. You'd have to rip the backs off and disconnect the LED um, LEDs. Um, so, anyways, the Tascos were out because the particular model that I wanted to use were no longer available. So, instead of search online and uh, just trying to get reviews from various other cameras out there, and just basically shopped it around. And I'm not going to give out the name brand of the camera per se because we didn't get any sort of endorsement or any sort of discount on prices really, or any help from the manufacturer. But we found a place, and the model of the camera was HT001B. That was the model number. And the reason I used that particular camera was because it was very easily uh, modified as far as getting into the electronics and disconnecting the LEDs, putting a micro switch in. At a flick of a switch, you can disconnect the black IR, if you will. And if we want to repeat the experiment at nighttime, we just have to take the backs off, hit the switch again, and the LEDs are active again. So it was really, really simple as far as using this thing. As far as the testing went, yeah, I tested every single camera. We had a number of cameras. I think we had about 19 or 20 of them set to take digital photographs and also a 20-second video. And the rest of those cameras in the array, the rest of the 48, they were just basically uh, rapid fire photographs only. And we did the testing on it. We figured out what the maximum trigger range is, and that's about 60 feet. So we factored that into the camera array, that we're going to have one camera covering another camera. So the maximum we can basically set them at is around 60 feet in between cameras. And the reason behind having each camera being covered by another camera was just by experience. Like one of our investigation sites in Madoc, um, Jack and Diane, they did mention that they put up cameras, and these things would just come up from behind and either rip them down or point them in a totally different direction altogether. So yeah, that's henceforth we had back-to-back coverage and basically covering the next tree in the array, basically. So if something got messed with, there'll be another camera probably catching the action as it went down.
So this
But
actually has the potential to answer questions that have always been pondered about game cameras, and that is if you capture something that seems to be messing with the camera, let's just say it's a regular animal. Let's just say a raccoon decides to go up the backside of a tree. If for some reason it messes with the camera and knocks it off,
Yeah.
that can also answer some questions, because it may not necessarily always be a Bigfoot that's doing those kind of things. We just don't know. Uh, and also, I like the idea that you can turn off the IR or turn on the IR because that's always been posed as a deterrent. I'm not so sure that I buy into that, but it's good to be able to test out both, especially if you
Yeah.
go for a while and maybe don't see the results that you want that way, then you can go ahead and flick them on, and then you can do some nighttime stuff and see what's happening at night. And but yeah, I like that. I think that's very scientific.
So for
Yeah.
example, one
And go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
for example, like when I came to one of the cameras, I was pulling this one a particular one down. I noticed that the sensor was was crushed in to a certain extent. So then we didn't know we made comments over the radios. Something wasn't too passive with this camera, and later we discovered it was through research and review of the videos. Excuse me, it was a woodpecker really tapped it
Wow.
in. So
Yeah. Everything out there has the potential to leave some kind of trace that
It
we
was
can misread. We can misread what trace is left by something. So
it.
I think it's huge to be able to have a process where you're covering such a vast area. And of course I did the measurements with 571 meters, and that's over a third of a mile long. So it's over a third of a mile long. A an electronic wall that if anything passes that electronic wall will get captured on one of those cameras. I love it. I love it. And the data that you guys are going to yield, it has the potential to answer a lot of questions, especially and more than likely one of the most questions that it's going to answer is how often a regular animal messes with a camera and we misinterpret it. That's I mean, and that's just as valuable because that way it stops people from wasting so much time, uh, you know, uh, going down rabbit holes that are just really chasing ghosts.
Yeah. Well, we weren't the first guys that thought this up. It was actually the North American Wood Ape Conservancy that started off the Hadrian's Wall project, and uh, we basically copied what they were doing, and we just renamed it Hadrian's Wall North, basically because well we're north of the border, so we as a tribute we just named it Hadrian's Wall North. And since that time, I was chatting with some of the board of directors with the NAWAC regarding the success of their project, and um, they said they captured every single animal on the camera except for a Sasquatch, and they've gone through all their data cards or all their SD cards. Um, Therein lies another problem, or actually, they gave us some insight on what kind of problems they're having. They basically hung their cameras at approximately 6 feet off the ground, whereas we hung our cameras at least, 15 to 20 feet off the ground. The one problem they had was bears, black bears, I guess, coming up and start clawing at the camera. Now they had bear protection on their cameras. They had theirs encaged in a metal cage, and they used something similar to our camouflage latex bark. Um, and they said when the bears found it, they just ripped the camouflage masking system right off and basically into shreds. So, and again, that's a that's a costly component in that project. Whereas because we hung ours up a little bit higher, they're they they weren't noticed by bears. And I figured for sure we would have had at least one bear climb up a tree and come across one of our cameras and end up ripping it down, but we didn't have a single camera uh, taken out by a bear.
So how much time are you guys willing to commit to this?
Well, they're going to
As
go up
much
to
as
springtime
Indefinitely?
again, I think.
Years?
yeah. No, hopefully, just as long as our health keeps us that way. But yeah, we're planning on going up again, and we may not do it the exact same location. We might move it. Uh, we might do a different camera setup placement. We were discussing that before we got on here. But
Well, and
Chris, did you want me to show the latex there?
Yeah, sure.
So there it is there.
wow. Yeah, I'll show the picture
So
of it on the tree and the guy peeling it off. It's really it
yeah.
looks wonderful as far as a camo.
Well, even we went out to a conservancy, conservation area. There's give you an idea of how the cameras and poles line up there. I went to a conservation area just before that camera hang earlier last year, and uh, Chris was back up the path, and me and a couple other guys went up. We put up 4 cameras. Well, he came down the path. He couldn't find them. He was like,
Is that
Where'd you
is
put
that
it?"
is that when you guys started using GPS coordinates to mark them?
Well, at the test, we only put up 4 cameras in the test, so that wasn't really required. But yeah,
Yeah, it was
when
it
the
was more or
cameras were
less
set up.
a dry run exercise to give us an idea exactly how much time would be involved with putting up, 4 cameras, and that would basically give us a time, some sort of time trial, I guess, to for anticipation of when we put it up that day. So,
But see,
and we weren't that far off. We expected it would probably take about 4.5 hours to put up 48 cameras, and we're a little less. You guys did well. It was like just under 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Oh, I thought it was around 5, but we doesn't matter.
Oh
I thought it was around
no,
5.
it was under
I
four and
wasn't
a
looking
half.
at my clock when I was out there.
Yeah.
So
well, there's another aspect that I like about your program that you've got set up, and that is the asking of people to come in and review videos and pictures and be able to enter the website and pick a camera and spend time scouring through videos and then getting back to you guys with what they find. That way, people can feel like they're having a playing a part in what's being discovered out there. Are you guys interested in anybody that's watching this interview to contact you in that way so they can view what's going on with these cameras? And if so, give us that information that people can reach out.
Now that's going away from the camp. We've been going, what's that called? We've been going, that's south. We've been going east.
Okay.
So we gotta go west.
Gotcha.
Northwest. So this trail should eventually come north. If it ends up where I think it ends up, we end up in a big field and then we just kind of walk across the top below you.
Okay. All right. Hey, Hastings County Sasquatch subscribers. How would you like to join us in the search for Bigfoot? We're excited to invite you to participate in an extraordinary adventure in our quest to capture images of Sasquatch. As part of our Hadrian's Wall North project, we have captured tens of thousands of images and hundreds of videos, and we could use your help by adding your sharp eyes and keen insights to help us review them. What you'll do, you'll be assigned a file containing various images and videos from our cameras set up along Hadrian's Wall. Your mission is to meticulously review these files for any images of Bigfoot, animals, or other unusual activity. Share your findings and insights with us, and be part of a community dedicated to exploring the mysteries of this subject, and naturally get credit for your find. How to participate? Send us an email found in the description. Introduce yourself, like where you are from, or if you're part of a research team or just want to help out. In a day or so, you'll get a reply with your access link to the assigned camera data. There's no files to download, just one click, and you'll be reviewing images. 2. Take your time to examine the content thoroughly. There's no rush. 3. Submit your observations and any potential discoveries via email. Your contribution could be crucial in our ongoing investigation. Happy hunting. Thank you for being a part of the adventure. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Plus, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and we're now on Rumble as well. So be sure to drop by to keep an eye out for updates on our findings, or if you have a sighting report you wish to share. Contact us through Facebook or at hc.sasquatch@protonmail.com.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
so.
absolutely. So yeah, it's open to anybody that want to come on board and help us out on that. And who knows, maybe somebody has some kick butt programs you can load the data into, and you basically splice it all together and use AI. I don't know what kind of gurus we have out there that are talented, but yeah, if you want to join in on the search of our SD data from our cameras, definitely give us a an email, and it's hc.sasquatch at protonmail.com. So if you just send us an email in a day or two, we'll get back to you and we'll assign a camera or two, and we'll get you going, and you can go and search through it, take your time. And if you see anything, by all means, get back to us on uh, what camera you're referring to, and also what number uh, of the frame that you spotted something unusual, and get back to us on it.
So every one of
There's a
your
lot to go
cameras are
through.
numbered, and what a comfortable way for a Bigfoot enthusiast who tunes into these type of shows to be able to sit in the comfort of your own home on your own laptop and scour over hours and hours of videos and pictures and be able to look for things. I mean, how better of a way for someone not really an active researcher to still be researching?
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we had one guy reviewing one of the cameras, and he pointed out something that looked like a dog man, sort of poking his head up around the tree, and like we're scratching our head. I'm going, well, darn, it does look like a dog now, doesn't it? So,
Interesting.
um, and that could be just pareidolia because it
Sure.
was at a distance there, but
Yeah,
we're
it looks like there's
we're on the
something
fence on that one.
furry there. Yeah, it looks like there's
Yeah,
something furry there. It's just I can't see the dog face, but I can see the fur. But yeah, it's again, we don't know what it was, and that was a pretty good find as well.
Well, at some point, that can either be refuted or corroborated
Yeah,
if another angle shows something more, or a different picture picks up enough. You know, let's say there's an animal that frequents that area. Sometimes you catch it in partial view. So it'll all it will take is one picture to catch it in full view, and you'll be like, okay, this is what's coming through there. But that's the beauty of having this wall of so because most animals work on patterns, you know, that so whatever animals are coming through there with the pattern of behavior, that means they're going to come in through there more than once or every day, or once a week, and you have a good chance of catching them at different poses and different views. And just what a great way to saturate an area and get all the information you can of what's going on there.
it's like if say camera 10 captures something, we can go to camera 13, 14, or 7 or 6, and who knows what those cameras caught. They might have caught something coming in to go, and what that was initially caught by camera 10, let's say. So there could be a possibility it was caught on other cameras along the array. So
Yeah.
that's very
another good
important that
thing
we
that
have
we
people helping us out here.
yeah, that's another good thing we had the cameras numbered because we skipped. I think it was 31 and 32. We got all the way to the end, and then we counted the cameras. And then we lined them all up in order, in numerical order. 31, 32 is missing, so we had to go right back through and find it again. And that was a bit of a
Yeah,
challenge, but
I
we found
saw
it. We
that.
got them.
It's like 200 yards away still.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 200 yards of rough, not
Yeah.
walking across a parking lot.
Nope. You need the right boots on for that one. So,
Yeah, yeah. Hey, so what will you do if you go out there and you're climbing up one of those spindly little extendable ladders, and somebody takes a 12-foot topple and breaks a leg? You guys be in
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. When we were setting them up, I just for some modus, some a bit of safety, I was using a bungee cord at the top of the tree and wrapping it around. So, and I did have a couple of slips here and there, like, oh, but then I hugged the tree and held on. But yeah, I was very careful, slow, and try not to make sure I didn't come down too fast or go up too fast. And incidentally, yeah, I did slip. Yeah, I did slip a couple of times, but I didn't fall.
Well, I use
So
one of those expendable extendable ladders that you had. What a
yeah,
great invention that somebody came up with. It's it's easy to carry. It's not very heavy. It's a great. I take every time I go camping because often I need to get way up when I'm tying stuff off for tarps and stuff. It's nice to have the flexibility of being able to climb up if you need to. Those ladders are fantastic. I recommend everybody have one for whatever reason, but they are a little spindly
yeah.
and especially they get a little more narrower at the top and so you get up to the top and it's just it's precarious at times, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was worried a little bit about the flexing of the ladder, like if I was on the tree and it would bend in like that, and then down I would go, but it didn't happen. It held me up. I'm a couple 100 pounds, so
Yeah, I think they're made. Yeah, I'd say about 200 pounds is probably the limit. But and of course sometimes I'm pushing that limit. So yeah, but yeah, it's a great tool. You guys did a good job. Uh, can you tell us what areas of Canada? I'm going to show the picture that shows all your cameras in the line that was on your video. Uh, can you tell us again the general location of where this is going on?
yeah, it was around the Madoc site area.
And
Uh,
what's Madoc?
Madoc is the
Oh, you
town.
mean the Mowat?
Oh,
Sorry, the
Mowat. I
Mowat.
misspoke.
Yeah.
The Mowat location. That's you're looking up north of Parry Sound, Ontario. That's if you look on the maps there. Yeah, we can't say yeah, just Mowat. That's the township
Yeah,
it's in.
no,
So
I
yeah,
understand because there's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, and they're going to get on Google Earth and they're going to want to look at the area and and I do that myself, not because I'm trying to find out where it's at so I can sabotage anything. I just like looking at the vastness and the possibilities and the potential and then I find myself scouring the map looking for ravines and ridges and but I'm that way. But and I'm sure there's got to be other people that way too that love to look at locations and just kind of fantasize about what can be going on there.
Yeah, I think what Daryl was about to say was we've been there several times, and there's been a few times we actually got howled at
yeah.
from
That's what I
a
was gonna
railway
say.
line.
Yeah,
So, oh yeah, quite literally, we got two Ohio howls as we were crossing the
the
railway
railroad
tracks.
line.
We parked the vehicles there, so I guarantee they use railway lines, and they must have a home base set up somewhere in that area, and we just happen to be caught by one of their sentries for sure.
We
So
had
will you
some.
create so will you create on your website maybe if somebody doesn't have the time to go in and invest with hours of scouring through things but they still want to come over and peruse what you've got, are you going to set up as people start showing you things that they find, will you put up a separate portion where okay, here are things so far where people have found something, anomalies in the pictures or something, and then so that people can just directly go into that and kind of scroll through them and see the type of things that people are finding?
Yeah, I'm working on Hastings County Sasquatch, the webpage. Not right now, but I just started that. A little slow for me. I got some busy work, home life, but I got to get that's the idea. I want to get the a map up as well, where we can put, you could click on the little pinpoints on the map, so you can see some photos or even read the reports of those general areas. But yeah, the plan is to put any evidence by anybody that's found it up on the same page as well. We'll probably put it back up on the Facebook page as well.
Well, I can see that expanding. I mean, I mean, not the website, but the camera system itself. I can see over time doubling or even tripling the length of that stretch to where it's a full mile. Hell, yeah, I like it. I wish I had that kind of money and an area that I could have, closer access to. I suggest that everybody needs to get on top of this one because this one has the potential to be laying out some data for a long time coming. So you might want to stay on top of what these guys are doing, especially up in Canada. All of us that do research, has that on our bucket list to get up there in Canada at some point. So yeah, I mean, if there's anything else you guys want to add in on this, feel free. I think we've pretty much touched on
Oh,
everything. I'm going to add in pictures, maybe even some of your video. I might add that in on here
sure.
too. But yeah, I mean, anything else you guys
Well,
want
the
to
one thing
say?
I've noticed is it doesn't matter where you are. We've talked to we prefer to talk to fellow investigators like yourself, Randy. And uh, one thing we noticed by talking to all these guys is uh, all of the characteristics are pretty much the same. Doesn't matter where you guys are located. Um, the activities, um, the activities, and also the characteristics and behavior are all pretty much exactly the same. Doesn't matter where you're located. So, and you know, anybody that has any tips that want to throw it our way and say, hey, did you try this? Did you try that? Hey, that's a great idea. Why don't you just try and alter it just a little bit? And this was worked for me. And by all means, like, throw some ideas our way. We're always
Yeah,
open.
I don't want to expose anything that we were talking about earlier, some of the stuff, but yeah, aside from the latex camouflage, there's another little thing I want to try this year. I think I might try some fake rocks and stuff like that for a couple cameras and see if we can put them around our campsites and stuff like that.
Well, you guys have probably seen the only stealthy stuff that I do is my log recorder, parabolic recorders that are placed in little cylinders that with bark on it, so it looks like logs laying on the ground. And there's been times I've gone back to try to find them, and I just can't find them anywhere. And it the bark is the best thing that you can use if you're going to camouflage something because it's everywhere in the woods. So yeah, no, I like the idea. And I'm experienced with camouflaging all of my recorder, parabolic setups with the logs with real bark on it. So yeah, I see what that's worth, and it's worth putting the effort into trying to hide these things because then you can take that off the table that it's not just something that they can see right off the bat, from 100 yards away, see it glaringly on the side of a tree. So yeah, let's get that off the table, and then we can move forward from there.
That's right. Yeah.
So, all right, well, gentlemen, I mean, I know this wasn't extremely long, but I just wanted to talk about your project. I'm fascinated with it. I think it has a lot of great potential, and I want to steer some people y'all's way, and maybe you guys can get some help going over some of that video that you've got to go through, and yeah,
We got thousands of images.
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
270 days of 50 cameras out there for 270 days. I can only imagine how much you've got. So,
It's a lot of data. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, anything you guys want to finish up? You want to throw out any website addresses?
Send us an email found in the description. Introduce yourself, like where you are from, and or if you're part of a research team or just want to help out. In a day or so, you'll get a reply with your access link to the assigned camera data. There's no files to download, just one click, and you'll be reviewing images. 2. Take your time to examine the content thoroughly. There's no rush. 3. Submit your observations and any potential discoveries via email. Your contribution could be crucial in our ongoing investigation. Happy hunting. Thank you for being a part of the adventure. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Plus, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and we're now on Rumble as well. So be sure to drop by to keep an eye out for updates on our findings, or if you have a sighting report you wish to share. Contact us through Facebook or at hc.sasquatch@protonmail.com.